California wine country. Napa, Sonoma, Healdville. For many folks, a chance to come up here, do a little California dreaming. But for NASCAR's best, it's not the fruit of the grape. It's the fruits of victory. For some, it's California dreaming. For others, road racing, a nightmare. Welcome to Budweiser Pole Qualifying for the Dodge SaveMart 300 at the beautiful Infineon Raceway at Sears Point, Sonoma, California. Boy, what a change from a week ago from the wide expanse of asphalt at Michigan International Speedway, where Brendan Gaughan got in trouble earlier, rushing the safer barrier and sending Robbie Gordon into Kurt Busch and into a spin. Ryan Newman picked up a hitchhiker, made an unscheduled pit stop, and came back. Jeff Gordon took the lead from Casey Kane, and then his engine went south. Dale Jarrett flirted with the lead. It was competitive all day. Rusty Wallace, Brendan Gaughan battled back. Veteran Sterling Marlin and Elliott Sadler fought for the lead. But when Ryan Newman put it out in front of Jarrett to stay, Casey Kane closed in the closing laps with P.J. Jones was in the wall, and with cars oncoming, the caution was thrown on the final lap. Then the checkered flag, and Newman returned to a victory lane that he had raced in August, winning the DHL 400. Jimmy Johnson vaulted into the point lead by 7. Defending champ Matt Kenseth a solid third. Bobby Labonte and teammate Tony Stewart real close, 4th and 5th. And Ryan Newman picked up a spot in the top 10 to 9th. There's the cutoff point. Casey Kane within 400, leaving Jeremy Mayfield, Jamie McMurray, Dale Jarrett, and Rusty Wallace looking in. So now we come to something completely different. Hi, everybody. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, and Darrell Waltrip at what we always say could be a pivotal race in the season, because there are so many ways this track can beat you, Darrell. A lot of different straightaways, mostly right turns, speeds as low as 30 miles an hour, fast straightaways, momentum corners. This place has it all. Yeah, but you got to take care of the one element of that car that's going to get you to the finish, and that's that thing you got your hand on with the right hand, and that's the shifter that's hooked to the transmission. You don't want to tear up your transmission here. You're out of the race if you do. We've seen it happen time and time again. The other thing is you can't wheel hop. Now, we talk about that, and sometime maybe during the race we'll probably get to show it to you. That's when you go in the corner, charge in a little hard, get those back wheels jumping up and down. What that's doing is trying to tear the gear out of the car when that happens. So transmission, gear, got to have a lot of car control, a lot of finesse. That's what makes it work here at Infineon. We have a few road race specialist drivers in the field, but Larry, how about in the garage? How specialized are the cars they bring here and some of the people that tune on them?
Yeah, I mean, it's cars that's only built to run 2 races a year, the race here and the race at Watkins Glen. And you see guys in the garage area that I haven't seen in years, but it's the guys that work on the gears and transmissions for these race teams, because like DW said, it's one of the most important components about the race car here. These guys are going to be shifting about 14 to 15 times a lap. But to me, Mike, this qualifying day here at this road course, it always just seemed to be the most important day next to race day, because it's so hard to start at the rear of the field of a road course, even 110 laps, and come back and go to the front to win the race. And I think that's the reason you're going to see a lot of these guys put so much effort into qualifying, because it's one lap. You don't get a second chance like we do a lot of places we go.
Here's the asphalt snake, newly repaved. That is Infineon Raceway. And Darrell, it's not just a lot of right turns and different straightaways and radius corners, a lot of different elevation change too. Yeah, you come out of turn 2 at the top of the hill down here, you go downhill, then you're into a kind of a hole, you come up a little grade there, you start down to turn 4, and that's downhill into the short chute, into the bottleneck down there, the Budweiser bottleneck, up through the S's. But this turn right here, turn 11, that's where the action is. Actually starts back there in 10, where you come around, headed down to turn 11. Good place to pass, good place to get in a lot of trouble as well. As you see, in the last 5 years, only one driver has won the pole and the race in the same year. I think he's with Dick Berggren.
Yeah, I think he probably is too, and that's Jeff Gordon. And when you come to Infineon Raceway, he is invariably the man to beat. He's got 3 poles here, 3 wins, twice he's finished second, twice he's finished third. If you're counting, that's about 2/3 of the time he finishes in the top 3. How do you do it?
Same, thing that it takes to go fast anywhere you go. Just a great combination. I do think that I've just really have grown to fall in love with the road courses, and I enjoy them, and it allows me to really push and challenge myself in the car. But if you don't have the car underneath you, it doesn't matter. And we've worked extremely hard over the years, gearing, transmissions, brakes, chassis, and the guys really got it tuned in good today. I don't know if you're going to ask me more questions, so I got to get one more last dig, or one more last plug. I'm sorry. The boat raffle. Got about a week and a half left before we draw. So please go to jeffgordonfoundation.org and buy some raffle tickets. Get that boat. Donate some money to Victory Junction Gang, the Jeff Gordon Foundation.
It's a great cause, and I'm going to get a plug for you too, because in practice today he was about 1.5 miles faster than the track record. To Matt Yoakum.
Dick, another driver who's had a lot of success here at Infineon's Ricky Rudd. 2 wins, 4 poles, and he was one of 14 different drivers who broke the existing track record in practice. Ricky, but I just saw your car just now leave your garage stall, and you're scheduled to go out first. What's the matter with the car?
Well, right there at the end of practice, something broke in the gearbox, not really sure, and coming into turn 10, the right-hander, and got off the racetrack, it popped out of gear a little bit earlier than that, and popped out again coming into turn 10, so they needed to change the transmission, and so I guess I don't know where we're going to line up, but I don't think it makes a big difference.
Is the track easier to drive with the new pavement, Ricky?
Well, the track has continued over the years to get easier to drive. They took the carousel out, I guess, quite a few years ago. The new pavement, I think all the drivers love it. It's got a lot of grip, a lot of traction. It makes it easier to drive for everybody, which I think it's going to tighten the field up a little bit and make for a better race.
Now, at Talladega, he scored the Wood Brothers' first pole in 2 decades. If he gets a pole here today, he was 4th quick in practice. He gets a pole here today, it'll be the first time on a road course for the Wood Brothers since 1979 at Riverside with David Pearson. Mike?
Ricky Rudd won the inaugural Cup race here in '89. Tonight, the Black Cat Fireworks 200. There'll be fireworks aplenty on the Milwaukee Mile right here on Speed, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Tomorrow, Nextel Cup final practice on FX and the NASCAR Busch Series tomorrow night on FX. Then flip that dial over to Fox Sunday for the Nextel Cup Series right here from Infineon Raceway on Fox. NASCAR Victory Lane to wrap it all up Sunday night on Speed. But pole qualifying coming at you next. Speed Channel coverage of Budweiser pole qualifying from Infineon Raceway is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. And by YJ Stinger, the Extreme Energy Drink. Catch the buzz, feel the sting. Road racing has long been a part of NASCAR's history. This track actually replaced Riverside, California on the schedule when that facility closed after 1988. You have a look at today's weather. But NASCAR has also raced, we still race at Watkins Glen, New York, of course, in August, at Bridgehampton, Long Island, Augusta, Georgia, Bremerton, Washington, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, Titusville, Florida, Lancaster, California, and Linden, New Jersey have all been road courses where NASCAR has competed.
And they've really just keep finessing this racetrack, Mike, moving out the barriers. When we first came here, it was almost impossible to drive a big stock car around here because if you dropped the wheel off, you turned over. You got into those tire barriers right there. You sit right along the edge of the racetrack, upside down you'd go.
Yeah, truth be known, this facility has probably spent more money on improvements than any racetrack we go to on the circuit, and it's happened a lot just in the last 3, 4, 5 years. Bruton Smith, Steve Page, and all the folks here. There's the new terrace seating down through the S's. That used to be just a hillside where folks would come and set out blankets. Now they've got a terrace to sit on.
As a matter of fact, our TV booth used to be right over there.
That's right, right about where that first big white trailer was.
And it looked about like that big white trailer.
This is the Earnhardt Terrace, one of the first of the major improvement areas in this recent set of renovations.
And that's a cool turn right there because you're coming around turn 1 and you're coming uphill right there. When you get to the top, that's turn 2, they put that grandstand in. There's a lot of action at the top of that hill, particularly on the start of the race.
And the hospitality area, as you see from the Earnhardt Terrace, the climb from turn 1 up to turn 2 and across. Those ripple strips on the inside have been the undoing of many a car.
Yeah, and here comes PJ, expecting him to have a pretty good run here.
Bennett Lane Winery on board for Arnold Motorsports, the number 50 Dodge, and our apologies to PJ that we didn't spend a little more time on his condition at the end of the Michigan race. He did climb from the car okay, and we hope that was pointed out clearly to everybody. Whoa, there's a little bit of lockup.
Well, what happens is, Mike, you go up the drag strip and come out over in the middle of the S's. You don't really have a lot of time to get a lot of heat in your tires.
Yeah, PJ was 40th quickest in practice. In fact, Darrell, we were up here watching practice. We watched him get in trouble over in the S's late in the practice session.
A lot of cars coming out of the S's headed down here toward turn 9 really had problems. We'll see what happens with PJ when he gets over there. This is downhill into a hole right there. Car kind of bottoms out. Now you're uphill over the top of turn 3 here, headed downhill now into turn 4. Heavy braking, grab a gear. Get up on the ripple strips. Watch that wall sticking out right there. Gasser across here. Turn 7. Second gear. Now you're going to head down through what now is a pretty fast part of the racetrack with this resurfacing. The S's.
And this is an area where one corner really links to another. If you mess up one of these, you've messed up the whole sequence.
Right where he just came through. That's a lot of guys been having trouble there in practice.
Mike, I think that's the thing we talked about in the beginning. You know, you only get one lap of qualifying here, and I think if you mess up anywhere on this racetrack, it just throws the rhythm off for the entire lap.
30 miles an hour through this corner.
Yeah, and quite honestly, I wouldn't want to be the first guy to go out. You know, we just had the Saturday race practice out there a little bit ago, and they had a lot of problems. They had a lot of dirt on the track, a couple blown engines.
Darrell, he either missed a shift coming up off turn 11, or either he was hard against the rev limiter.
A lot of times, Larry, you'll come off turn 11 down here in first gear, and sometime you'll just over rev the engine, hit the rev limiter.
So P.J. Jones, son of Parnelli, the Indy winner, our first qualifier. For many years, the Iceman, Terry Labonte, along with Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd, was acknowledged one of NASCAR's absolutely best road racers. And he's still pretty cool here behind the wheel.
This group put a lot of energy into this race right here, as did a lot of the race teams. They came out here and tested. Yeah, Terry has run 52 road course races on the NASCAR Nextel Cup circuit with 8 Bud poles total.
3 times he started here on the front row and finished second here for Billy Hagan in '92.
When you come over the top of that hill headed down toward turn 4 here, it's blind. You come up over the top of that hill, all you see is daylight until the car gets headed down that hill. So you've got to really feel your way across there and know where you are as far as landmarks are concerned.
Terry was 16th quickest in practice, and Dick Berggren was telling Pam Miller, who just relayed the message to me, that P.J. Jones was stuck in second gear when he came off turn 11.
Boy, you can hear those engines. You really abuse them qualifying. And he's come around turn 10. Got to be careful right there. Easy to get off.
I guarantee you this will be an action corner right here on Sunday during the race.
Yeah, those blue and yellow tires that got stacked up there, they'll be everywhere.
Terry Labonte, 92.68 miles an hour, 77.29 seconds.
I don't think you'll be very happy with that, because he slowed down over a half a second from what he ran in practice.
So the Kellogg Chevy is best of 2 right now. We'll be back to Sonoma in a moment. Welcome back to California wine country, where Ricky Craven hops the curb at turn 2. 2 kinds of curbs here, Darrell. Some you want to stay off of, and some, like here at the exit of 5, that really aren't curbs at all. You just use that as bonus pavement.
They're reminders. They're reminders that you're real close to getting in trouble.
Good point.
Ricky was 31st quickest in practice. And DW, I think you and I were talking before we went on the air. I don't know that I would want to have been in one of these first 4 or 5 cars, because the Southwest Tour cars did European-style qualifying right before this qualifying session. We watched a car blow up over here in the S's. They put a lot of oil dry down. Ricky Craven's in trouble. Entered that corner way too hard.
Hold on.
You know what? I don't think I've seen that happen for a while. He spun that car and didn't hit the end of that wall.
When you get in trouble over there in turn 10, you normally can't drive it back to the garage.
No, that was he stayed in the gas. He just slid it through there at a high rate of speed.
The big difference, I think, Darrell, is he didn't catch the tail at the edge of that tire wall. Because those walls, tire walls were the first soft walls. We see them a lot at road courses. But what happens, sadly firsthand I can tell you, you get the back end into that tire wall and it sucks the car in and it just twists the front end into it. Yeah. And usually you've written off the car.
Watch this. I mean, what he does is he's off. He knows he's off now. He never slows down. He just stays in the throttle. See the rear tires are just digging away. Here he comes, a little wide right here. And now he sees he's going to go off. See the car dip down a little bit? Now he just stays in the throttle and power slides it through here. He just power slides it right and misses the end of that wall.
Boy, if he had just caught the end of it, it would have spun the nose right into the hard wall after it.
They'd be unloading a backup car right now.
I think he probably stayed in the throttle saying, well, I'll either be a hero or a zero.
Yeah, I can't save the lap, but maybe I can save the car.
Exactly.
And he did. So Ricky Craven will head for provisional land. We have 45 entries here for 43 spots. Welcome back to Sonoma, where Terry Labonte is quickest, followed by P.J. Jones. Ricky Craven did not finish his run, and Kirk Shelmerdine did not make an attempt. The 5-minute clock expired on him. So Sterling Marlin, who finished second here in 2000, his best road course finish in 37 starts. On track in the Coors Light Dodge. Dodge's first NASCAR road course win. 1966, David Pearson for Cotton Owens, driving a Dodge Coronet at Bridgehampton, Long Island.
Coming up that hill to the second turn there is fun. It's really fun. You come by the start-finish line in high gear, third, second, then you're up around the top of that hill. It's really cool. That's a tough spot right here, just getting around turn 4.
Sterling's using a lot of curbing on the inside of these corners.
All the
He's not looking like Nigel today, is he?
No.
He was 18th quickest in practice.
No. Got that baby reared up in the front end, I know that.
Boy, really using the curb feelers, Darrell.
He's just trying to use them to turn the car. The car looks really tight.
You can hear the wheels squealing.
And when you get a car that high up in the front end, there's no way it can drive right. That thing just looks like it's trying to pick the front wheels up.
I think right here is where it goes down so far under heavy braking getting in the corner. Didn't go down as far as I thought it was going.
Doesn't stay down there long enough. He needs him a pair of 48160s on the front.
Sure, big shocks.
Right, DW.
Them guys in the garage area down there now are shaking their head. What's he talking? That's old school.
And they're going in the morning. They're going to be telling me, "Will you please tell DW?"
Sterling is second to Terry Labonte.
I don't tell DW nothing.
Welcome back to Sonoma, where Brendan Gaughan and the Jasper Kodak.
No, he's coming.
Is coming to the green. But while we were gone, Klaus Graf from Dornum, Germany, who once led the 24 Hours of Le Mans and was on track for a Formula One career, gets off track here in this BAM Racing Dodge SEM. Beautiful, colorful paint scheme, but that won't help you get around here.
Boy, it's a shame because he was really not that bad in practice. Had one of the quicker times.
Had a good test. Finished third in the ARCA race at Nashville. But that is I believe that's a go or go home car, Larry.
Yeah, it's a team car to Kenny Schrader's. And Mike, we actually have 44 cars here for 43 positions, and he's one of 5 cars that has to qualify on time. But Brendan Gaughan, Darrell and I sat up here and watched him in practice. He was having a tough time with this place today.
He was. He was really wrestling with his car, and particularly he hadn't gotten there yet, but he was having a big trouble down through the S's with this car.
Darrell, you've often said about road racing, you have to drive slow to go fast. I don't think Brendan's quite ready to do that.
It's all about finesse, car control and hitting the right points in the turn. It's all technical. Road racing is very technical. That's technically wrong right there, by the way.
He completely missed that corner right there and can't get any forward bite off the corner. The rear was going to break loose. Turn 11 was really a mess for him.
He didn't. He wrestled with her in practice, and the fight goes on.
And he is fourth, 78.51. That's 78 seconds, 0.51. Now, the Busch cars don't run here, so some of these drivers have never been on this racetrack. Matt?
One of those drivers, Mike, Brian Vickers, you tested twice before you came out here. Who did you get the most help from? Terry Labonte, Jimmy Johnson, or Jeff Gordon?
I got a lot from all three of them. I got a lot of help from Terry. He tested with us both times, which is really good. He's a good road course racer. And I got a lot of help from Jeff and Jimmy, too.
5 straight races in Cub. He has started in the top 5. He's hoping to keep that streak alive. Hopefully, he told me, with a top 10 start today.
That would be a very ambitious goal for a driver who's never been here, Matt. Bobby Labonte, who has become one of NASCAR's best road racers. He has 2 fourth-place finishes here and a third-place start in 2000. Let's check with Dick Bergman.
Shirley Marlin, who has just come off the racetrack. What's the track like today?
Well, it was pretty good in Bonsai Run. We was 18th and had to miss a car. We thought we lost about 3/10 and they put us about 12th. And went to make a run, man, it was just way, way too tight, especially right-handers, and lost about 3/4 of a second. So I thought we were running 15s, but the car was just way, way too tight.
What's the track like?
It had good grip. It's too much grip because it would turn. Need to free it up. But like I said, I don't know if they run them Southwest Tour cars before us. I don't know if they messed the track up any, but you know, the guys going later probably have a big advantage. But it don't matter where you started.
Sunny and a pretty good breeze down here right now, and that's probably going to blow some of the dust and dirt onto the racetrack, and that will help unstick some of those cars that may be stuck too much.
Well, most winners have come out of the top 4 here, out of the 15 races. And the other thing, I think if he goes back and looks at the video of his qualifying run, he'll see why it won't turn. The front wheels are off the ground.
Yeah, DW, of all the places we go, I think the qualifying package changes the least amount as you prepare the car to race.
Could be new pole sitter here, Larry. Bobby Labonte on track to unseat his older brother Terry, and does so 76.87 seconds. That's 4/10 quicker than Terry Labonte. So the Interstate Battery Chevrolet climbs to the top of the chart. Here's West Coaster Austin Cameron, who won the inaugural Toyota Showdown for NASCAR Elite Series drivers back at Irwindale, California Speedway in October. And the 27-year-old from El Cajon ran 78.50, 5th fastest.
Nice guy. I really like him, his mom. All of them are great people.
Jeff Gordon, I guess you would have to say NASCAR's premier road racer these days.
He can do it. He can tippy-toe around here with the best of them. I just like to see Jeff do some other kinds of road racing. You know, and I know he can't do Formula One, but I'd like to see him do some 24-hour stuff, or, you know, and I'd like to see him drive one of those Audis. I think he'd be really good in one of those with some of those guys that run those.
I think you just made a bunch of guys in Warren, Michigan cringe at that thought up at the Houma Chevrolet.
Okay, Corvette.
Okay, that'd be fine. He did run that all-star off-road rally race.
Yeah, over somewhere.
Right.
Over the pond.
I mean, just look how smooth he is. I mean, he hits his marks every corner, up through the S's here. Car looks good, stays pretty nice and flat.
Got through there nice. Here he comes, turn 10. This is critical. He can't heavy braking, but not too much. You'll lock up the front tires. Yeah, got her a little wide there. Little turn.
I don't think he lost a lot of time there.
Oh, enough to keep him from winning the pole.
Just remember, he was the fastest man in practice.
He'll be really upset with himself.
Boy, but he got all there was at turn 10 and a little more.
I mean, he's going to be about a second faster than Bobby Labonte on this lap right here. 75.97.
That is whip butt.
Well,
everybody who's run so far.
And that's and you say what might have been. What if he had to run off turn 10? This is a really, really sensitive area right here. It takes braking, but if you over brake the car, you actually are getting the front wheels almost sliding, and you run out of racetrack. And that's as good as you can do right there, running off the racetrack.
Because the neat thing is the right wheels kept digging.
Just don't panic. Get off the brake. That's the big thing.
And there we're seeing a lot of guys get in trouble there at turn 10. And I think that it has so much grip right now. They're carrying so much speed. They're just running out of racetrack.
Dick Berger.
So I'm watching the television monitor, and I see Jeff Gordon run off course a little bit, and I tell Bobby Labonte, Jeff Gordon has just run off course a little bit. What'd you tell me?
He probably had to run off course twice to beat me. For me to beat him, I mean. But, yeah, we've been struggling a little bit all day with our brakes. Ain't quite got very happy with those things. And so we didn't get to run many laps in practice. But, we came out here and tested. We ran all race runs. We didn't run any qualifying runs. We just did a one-day test instead of a two-day test. So, I mean, kind of wish that we had done a little bit of that, but at the same time, I'm not, quite as worried about qualifying as I am for the race anyway. So, we'll look forward to tomorrow. Hopefully we get a couple things figured out and make it better.
2 practice sessions tomorrow to dial them all in.
Thanks, Dick. Now, Scott Riggs is on track, Darrell, and that's going to be dusty down in 10 when he gets there.
Yeah, it probably will, but he's not even going to make it to 10, and he had trouble here earlier today. This is coming out of the S's, and for whatever reason, and I think the paving has created so much speed that when you come out of the S's, it's hard to make that turn right there. But what I was going to say about Bobby's talking about his brakes, you run so much camber in the front tires here, and you run such huge brakes on the front, that when you come around to turn 10 here and you get on the brakes, you're on the edge of the front tires. And until you run those tires a few laps and get them kind of buffed in, sometimes it just locks up the front tires.
Mike, you had talked earlier about the drivers making their first start here. Scott Riggs, he's going to go ahead and complete that run. Of our rookies, Scott Riggs and Scott Wimmer are the only 2 guys that's ever even ran a race on a road course. He ran a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Watkins Glen a few years ago.
He'll be 9th of 10 drivers who've made attempts, but
I've seen this happen so many times today. I pointed out to Larry and Jeff when he was up here. And see how much front brakes in the car? The rear tires were still turning and the fronts were locked up. The car dips over on the left front. And around he goes.
Dick Bergman.
With Jeff Gordon, the look on your face when you got out of the car, you weren't pleased.
Well, I mean, we've got such a great car, and the track is, changed a bunch. I mean, we drew an early number, certainly not going to help us, but I'm just mad because I made the same mistakes I made here last year. We had a good, decent lap going, and I knew I was going to be tight over there. I had been all day, and I got in there, and I felt it push. I even got out of the gas, got a turn, got back in the gas, and I still went off the racetrack. So just a little disappointed. I mean, the track slowed down a bunch, still a good solid lap, and I really thought we had a shot at that pole, and that could take us out of that contention.
Might still get it. Junior's on the track.
Now, Junior's car just at the bottom of 2 there, where there's that big dip. You saw it kind of lay over on the right front and just kind of dive around a little bit with it. Cost you a lot of time.
Jeff Gordon's lap did break the old track record by over half a second.
But Larry, he ran a 75.36 in practice.
Slowed down over half a second.
At a 96.
When Dale Jr. came here last year, he'd never had a top 20 start here, and he'd never had a top 15 finish. He improved greatly as a road racer last year.
One of the things that's really affected, I know when we raced here, it was pretty defined, the racetrack was, by dirt banks. You kind of had landmarks and spots on the track you knew where you needed to be. As they've opened this racetrack up, it's not very, there's not anything to judge where you are by, so you can overdrive a turn real easily. It's kind of like going down a highway with no lines on it.
Tell you what, he was pretty quick in practice. 8th quickest. Good lap for Dale Earnhardt Jr. 4th quickest.
77.74 for Junior, coming to one of the 2 Nextel Cup tracks on which he has not yet had a top 10 finish. Welcome back to Infineon Raceway, built on Sears Point in Sonoma, California. For Jeff Burton in the Roush Racing Ford. Not sure if this is the one with the blue hood hinges or not, but
I was going to say, is it my imagination or does that car just keep getting whiter?
I think you're right.
Everything but the numbers, but this is actually a brand new race car they built, and they went to Virginia International Raceway and tested it twice.
Now that's a good line across that top of that hill and across the rumble strips there. Looked really good. Carried a lot of speed.
Jeff's a decent road racer. He's qualified third here 2 years ago and has 2 top 10 finishes here.
Kind of an interesting entrance to that turn. Way out wide, kind of a late apex.
He was 21st quickest in practice. You see right there on the left-hand side of his car number, he's about 3/4 of a second behind the pole speed of Jeff Gordon, pushing close to a second now.
Surprised, Larry, that the times are slow. They've slowed down quite a bit. Let's see if he makes it through 10. Yikes! Yeah. You always hold your breath right there. But the times are quite a bit slower than what we saw in practice.
I just think the racetrack is definitely heated up, and even though it's got a ton of grip, I think it's lost some grip.
What I like about his run, Darrell, is he's really smooth, and that late apex at 7, you do that so you can try to get back to the throttle quicker and get down through those S's.
That's a road race technique. Late apex.
And guess what? He's third fastest. Good run for Jeff Burton.
Maybe he went to one of those driving schools.
We'll see when we talk to him. Dick?
Well, Junior may have gone to one of those driving schools as well. You're a lot quicker now than in past years here. What have you done to pick up the speed?
Well, the track's been paved, so everybody's going to be faster, but I was real disappointed in my lap. My car, I've been on the verge of being loose all day, and we just ain't been able to fix it. So a couple times I got loose, and it cost me a lot of time. Should have been better, but we ain't.
You know what? We haven't talked to anybody who's happy with their lap either, so you got a lot of company, Junior. Mike? Oh, Matt. Sorry, to Matt.
Rusty Wallace very happy, Dick, with his lap in practice as Earl Barban helps strap him in. Now, Rusty, brand new race car, second quick in the first practice.
Yeah, I feel good about it. I just got to drive an aggressive lap, but keep it on the track and drive smart, and I think we can get us a pole today if everything goes smooth.
His average start in the last 5 races here at Infineon, 4.4.
Oh, he can do it.
Yeah, I don't think that Jeff Gordon time, even though that's a great time, I think that's going to be beaten by a couple of people.
Kyle Petty, the Georgia Pacific Brawny Dodge, outside pole sitter here in 2000, has 1 top 5 and 2 top 10 finishes here. But over the last few years, Kyle's been doing a lot of road racing, teaming up with Leo Hindery and running some of the endurance events. So he's got a good bit of road racing in his background.
Actually has a road course win on the Next Up Cup circuit back at Watkins Glen. I think it was 1992. A little bit of rain short, but he had a good race car all day.
The more road racing you do, the better you are in it.
And Darrell, I think once you experience some success with a road race, I think that helps you so much too. I can remember coming here in 1991 with Davey Allison. He dreaded coming here for 2 months. I said, just be cool. We'll be just fine. We won the race. Next thing you know, he ran good to all of the rest of his road course races.
Most stock car drivers try to stop the car with the shifter. They want to downshift all the time and slow the car down.
That's Darrell. That's because we never had brakes that were worth a darn.
And, yeah,
it's different now.
I think you'll talk to Ron Fellows or any of those great road racers. They tell you that you don't use the gearbox to stop the car. You use the brakes to stop the car.
Kyle Petty right in mid-pack, 78.02 seconds. Saw the opening of the Victory Junction Gang Camp. They started accepting campers this week. Dick Berggren with the man who is third fastest.
Yeah, up toward the front of the pack. Jeff Burton, happy with your run?
I feel like I left an awful lot out there. Guys did a great job in the car. We fought a carburetor issue all day long. The thing was missing in the, when to go to get the throttle, it would miss really hard, like the floats were messed up. Jack really worked hard and fixed it. I wasn't ready for it to be fixed, and I just left something out there. The car drove great. I just didn't drive hard enough, but that's going to be a decent starting spot. Proud of my guys. They worked real hard, and I don't feel very good today, so I'm the weak link today.
Okay, good run. Matty?
Dick, another driver who was fast in practice, 6th fastest, Casey Kane. Now, Casey, what's been the biggest thing for you trying to get acclimated to road course racing in a stock car?
Well, there's been a lot of things. You know, with coming here and testing with Bill Elliott, that helped a lot. And then, you know, just being able to kind of run a lot of those things through my mind, watch different tapes, and just try to get better for when we came back. It's helped a lot. And then, you know, the guys, the Dodge Dealers team, these guys did a great job to give me a great race car this morning.
I'll let Darrell explain more a little later, but are you a left foot or right foot braker?
I'm a left foot braker. I've tried right foot, and I just couldn't do it in this car. So Bill's a left foot, and he helped me with some of that, and it seemed to work all right this morning.
A lot of effort has been put into getting Casey more in tune with road racing in a stock car. He's never done it before. They ran over 150 laps of testing here at Infineon. DW?
Yeah, what he's talking about is you know, you got a clutch. So obviously you got to, most of the guys do what they call heel and toe. And Mike, you're a road racer. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I think that goes along with the days when you had to use the gear shifter to slow the car, like you said, Darrell. Now, a lot of road racers are left foot brakers and do it real well.
Yeah, it's all about using the brake and the accelerator and kind of matching up the gears, like driving an old truck almost.
Pretty good lap for Kenny Schrader there, though. 5th quickest. That could be one of his best qualifying runs all year.
Excellent. Brandon Ash from Umpqua, Oregon, son of former racer and well-known engine builder Ed Ash, has run in the West Series here since 1996. He has just clocked in.
Good-looking flames on that car.
Yep, 12th quickest. Oh, and Brian Vickers. Was he on the green or was he on
No,
the
he's on the green. Yeah, he's just taking the green.
The Busch Series champion. And
come up over the top of that hill. It happens so easily. Car gets real light up there. Got to be ready for it.
This track has so many tricks, like how the car loads and unloads right there coming up the hill. That
see him get loose right there. He hits the curbs.
It's a tall order for somebody to come here for the first time and really run well.
And you see, when he topped that hill, he was already sideways.
Those tires were almost off the ground.
But trust me, you don't know where you are. When you come up over the top of that hill, you better have something picked out up there on the side of the hill to know exactly where you are. You'll get in trouble.
And you know, when you look at people like him having trouble, and then Scott Riggs and Ricky Craven, that's good news for people like Austin Cameron that we talked about has to qualify on time. Because we know these guys here, like Brian Vickers, will be eligible for provisional.
Right, Larry. There are 5 drivers who have to get in the field on time. Brandon Ash, Boris Said, Scott Pruitt, Klaus Graf, and Austin Cameron. There is even one driver here with a compass mounted on his dash. It's nice. A joke. We'll tell you about it later.
That's nice.
Dick Berggren.
With Kenny Schrader. And finally, we have found someone who was smiling when he got out of his car. Schrader has qualified 5th. Got a big hug from his team owner, Beth Ann Morgenthau. How about that run?
Everybody kept going off, and I thought, heck, and we had ran pretty slow. We tested out here good and ran slow this morning, and Scott made a lot of changes, and I just say I'm gonna go as fast as I can and stay on. I pretended I was at Peevely every turn.
And Peevely is the dirt track that Schrader owns. By the way, we're talking about people with no experience. This guy's run all the races here at Infineon. Mike?
Sure has.
Yeah, he picked up a 1.5 seconds from what he practiced, unlike what we've seen a lot of cars.
Jeff Green, spoonfuls of stories, Cheerios. And there on his steering wheel is the track map. And the team added this. That is a compass.
Yeah, about all those maps and stuff are good for us to tell you the team where you are after you go off.
Right.
Because you ain't got time to be looking at them, I can tell you that.
But I tell you what, Jeff Green only has 1 start here, but it was a top 5 finish 2 years ago. Finished 5th. Had a good run that day.
That Spoonfuls of Stories program will donate 4,700 books to area children who need them if Jeff completes all the laps here on Sunday.
Flirting with disaster right there. You know, Larry, one of the things I used to find to work pretty well, Wool got way out wide there. It cost him a lot of time. I didn't shift gears coming around turn 10 there. I would just come down the hill in high gear and power myself through there. So I had both hands on the wheel and didn't have to use quite as much brake.
Getting pretty busy right there. Yeah, Jeff Green along with Kyle Petty and Jim Engelbright and P.J. Jones, they're going to be on our trackside show later on tonight.
Great. I like that strategy, Darrell, because then you're not upsetting the car with being on throttle, off throttle in the middle of that shift, and it's a lot to do there.
Bill Cooper, who drove for Bob Bondurant out here in the school and drove the Corvettes at one time, he told me that. He said, when you think if you don't have to shift, don't shift.
Jeff Green is done. Ricky Rudd about to hop in. The Spoonful of Stories program had Jeff Green go to a local school this week and read stories to the kids. The race car alphabet.
Driver versus driver, bearing
I think he started on the E is for Earnhardt page.
But yeah, Mike, you talked about the number of books. If he can pull a top 10 out of the race on Sunday, it'll be an additional 10,000 books on top of those 4,700 books.
Terrific. Great program. Dale Jarrett is on track in the UPS Ford. Here's Matt.
Mike, first we must pay off the story from last week. Let's find out, how much did the Matt Kenseth t-shirt go for on your website, Kevin?
Well, the fans at HOL, they raised $3,200, and then I matched it, so it was a $6,200 or $6,400 and some dollar t-shirt. So it went to a really good cause. We went to the Victory Junction Gang camp, and Kyle and Patty, and we always like to try to turn a negative into a positive. So it would have been even better if Matt would have stepped up and matched the same thing, but he didn't. So just proud of all the fans at KevinHarvick.com.
Now you're pulling double duty this weekend. You will start 5th tomorrow in your Southwest Tour car, and you finished 3rd here last year. You must really like coming back to Infineon.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy the road racing. I spent a lot of time racing go-karts on the road courses, and just won the Winston West race here, won Southwest Tour race here last year, and had a chance to win the Cup race. So just excited.
Finished 3rd here last year.
Yeah, 3rd. So we're ready.
3rd here last year. You'd like to get a win in Cup, Mike?
Dale Jarrett, whose best start here is 3rd, and best finish here is 4th.
And guys, he's one of those teams with 11 races to go in his first 26. He has no mulligans left. He's 14th in points, but he's 153 points out of 10th. He's got to be just as solid every week as he was last week at Michigan.
He's got a strong run here. 77.86 puts him 7th on the board. $18 drivers have had a chance at the clock. We had 45 entries. Carl Long withdrew prior to coming out here, so 44 cars are here for 43 spots. Rusty Wallace in the Miller Lite Dodge with 2 poles here and 2 wins and 5 straight top 10 starts. You'd have to make him one of the favorites for the pole.
I sure like the way he looks so far. Nice smooth lap, got up across the hill real good, gets down through here, right out on the rumble strips, right where you want to be, a lot of speed.
And he was 2nd quickest in practice at a 75.50, so if he can just duplicate that, that would beat Jeff Gordon by about a half a second.
Back in the throttle hard right there, coming across 4. Picking it up good and early there. This car's looking good.
Aggressive smooth, Darrell.
Yeah, well, Rusty knows how to do that. He's the kind of driver that really does well on a road course like this, because he's kind of feisty, and you got to be a little feisty. You got to be able to wrestle with that thing a little bit.
And Mike, you talked about his numbers. This is a brand new race car, and they were one of the teams that came out here and tested this year.
Good corner, good 10. It's going to be a good lap.
See right here, though, it's going to be awfully close. Right now, he's showing just behind Jeff Gordon's pole speed, but it's getting better. See if he can do it.
Get up off of there. Here he comes.
2nd quickest. By about a 1/10 of a second.
That just tells you how good Jeff Gordon's lap was, because he went off at 10 and still is on pole, and that was a great lap by Rusty. Nice and smooth. I like the way he run that lap.
He's going to be making his 650th career start on Sunday in Nextel Cup.
Oh, big number. Tomorrow, the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week is back with what promises to be the greatest season in recent memory. The Mets take on the Yankees in a Big Apple showdown, or the Phillies against the Red Sox, or the Angels and Dodgers crosstown rivalry. And in Texas, the Astros take on the Rangers. Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week returns tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on Fox.
I don't know which one of those games you'll get, but I don't think you can go wrong with any of those.
Well, we've had a couple of rookies here. Brian Vickers and Scott Riggs both had a little trouble on their qualifying run. Let's see how Mr. Kane does.
Darrell, did it surprise you that he was 6th in practice?
It really did. I mean, just to come out here, of course, Bill Elliott's such a great boy. He got across there a little loose. But Bill Elliott is a great road course driver that I think Casey could really learn a lot from listening to him.
Now, to stay focused on this Nextel Cup car, the 9 car, he will not be doing the double duty this weekend and going to Milwaukee. I'm being told Shane Mill is in his Busch car there for that race tomorrow night on FX.
This is pretty much down through here. Just don't make any mistakes. Right there's a real treacherous spot.
Hit your marks.
Coming down here, just don't overdrive this corner. Get the car down in there, get her turned, stay on the track. Now don't lock up the brakes here. Get down in here, get it nice. There you go.
A little bit loose right there.
Got it loose. Way loose, way wide.
And it through his exit, it just throws that whole corner off.
He gets out of the groove there, and it's, even though it's new pavement, it's dirty out there.
And you saw the Fox tracker just start sliding to the right as he slid through the middle of that corner.
The more he slid, the more it slid.
Right. So Casey Kane ends up 11th.
Slowed down almost 2 seconds from what he ran in practice.
In case you were wondering, most second place finishes by a rookie. Ryan Newman with
Imagine
5.
that.
James Hilton with 4. And Casey Kane with 4 already. NASCAR Bud Pole qualifying from Infineon Raceway is brought to you by Budweiser. It's time for a fresh one. Grab a Budweiser. The race is on. Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, Bobby Labonte, Jeff Burton, and Terry Labonte are the fast 5 right now as Casey Mears brings his target Dodge out.
Casey was 23rd quickest in practice. Now, this is his first road course start in a stock car. Well, this will be actually his third one, second one here. But he has a lot of road course experience, Darrell, but it's in lighter cars. And I often believe you have to throw all of that knowledge away.
I don't know. He just about threw that lap away. I know that. That was actually was a pretty good turn the way it turned out.
I like that, Darrell, just like I like Jeff Gordon's.
Yeah.
Right rear stayed on the pavement and kept digging, so that probably didn't hurt him too bad.
No, he powered it through there. That's right on the edge.
He's going to be about 2 seconds off Jeff Gordon's time, it looks like. 11th quickest for Casey.
Not bad considering what might have been. Dick Bergman.
What might have been, Rusty Wallace was a heartbeat off Jeff Gordon's time. It looked like a terrific lap. Was there any place it could have been faster?
Yeah, turn 10. I got into turn 10. I got the thing sliding a lot right there, and I'm just holding on to it, just kind of on to break off the gas just so it wouldn't get off in the dirt. And I knew the clock was running right there, and it was really screwing me up. So everywhere else was pretty strong. I got through the whole rest of the course pretty good. And when I got to 10, you know, where 32 went off, where Gordon went off, I just got sliding too much right there, and that cost me the pole right there.
Okay, Rusty fans, dial in Sunday. He's got something for him here.
I think he does. Mark Martin, next in the Viagra Ford. His average finish in road course races is the best among active drivers who've been around for, say, 3 seasons or more. Average finish of 8th. This will be his 525th consecutive start. And he had 10 top 10 starts in the first 12 races here.
Yeah, once he hooked up with Jack Roush and Jack's road racing experience, you know, with the Trans Am cars, Mark has really parlayed that knowledge that Jack had into some great finishes.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, just to put those numbers in perspective, he has 35 career road course starts, 29 top 10 finishes.
And as we said, considering all the things that can and will go wrong at a place like this, that's a very strong record.
Mark is 12th quickest in practice, DW.
I think since turn 10 has got a lot of guys spooked. Everybody seems to be, you know, conservative right now because of the problems they've had there.
It's going to be a pretty good run for Mark. You see right there, it looks like he's about 3rd quickest as he comes off turn 11. About a half a second behind Jeff Gordon. So it's going to be a good run. Good and solid.
And he'll be the fastest Ford. Martin is 3rd fastest with a 76.45. The crowd likes it a lot because of Roush's road racing success, as you pointed out.
Mark just wants to stop the bleeding. When you look at the last month, other than that win at Dover, I mean, it has been a total disaster.
He's got a bunch of fans here. Let's go downstairs.
Scott Pruitt in a 4th Ganassi car. Now, how long have you been coming here, Scott?
Wow, I've been coming here longer than I should admit. I think racing go-karts here back in the mid to late 70s, so a couple years.
Now you've got a course description on your steering wheel.
That's more when I'm talking to the guys so we can be very specific about where we're at. A lot of times the way you feel with the car, you might think turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 may not be the same. This is, you know, since I'm just coming here part-time, we want to be very clear on what we're talking about. You know, this is, as you get ready to qualify, that's the other issue. You know, here in a target car, I want to go out and push hard, but I can't take a chance on getting off the track because we don't have any provisionals or anything like that. So, got to make it fast, but got to be smart.
Racing without a safety net, but he comes in Infineon, Mike, with 2 Grand American wins, and he's leading the standings as well.
Thanks, Matt. Ricky Rudd, one of NASCAR's most accomplished road racers, driving for the Wood Brothers. His first Cup victory came at Riverside, California in 1983. That was also the first Cup win for his car owner Richard Childress. His most recent win here, and he's on tap for a top 5 here.
Yeah, Ricky was 4th quickest in practice. This group came out here and tested earlier in the season.
Whoop. And as mentioned earlier, he won the first Cup race here.
1989.
Kenny Bernstein and I think a fellow named Larry McReynolds.
Yep. In fact, I got my very first Nextel Cup win with Ricky on the road course up at Watkins Glen in 1988. It's a pretty solid run for Ricky.
He's always been really good, and you get a camera in his car, you can see what we talk about, heeling and towing, using that left foot to brake and tap the right foot to use it, hit the brake and hit the gas and work the gear shifts. He's the best at that.
Ricky started out in go-karts, and a lot of fellows who come from karts think that gives them an edge on road courses. This was his last win. Came here at Sonoma June 2 years ago.
Go-kart racing just teaches you finesse. I mean, there's not a lot. You don't turn the wheel a lot, so you've got to use body English. You got to kind of lean on the steering wheel, not jerk on the steering wheel.
Kevin Harvick. You know, I think if I were Matt Kenseth, if I was going to be disappointed about anything on this T-shirt deal, it would be that Matt got $25 for that shirt. Kevin got $3 grand for it for Victory Junction. The rest of that story was that one of Kevin's fans bid $2,929.29, but there was a Kenseth fan bidding against her. So I think Kevin dipped in and upped the bid to make sure that that shirt would stay with a Harvick fan instead of going over to the dark side or wherever. You know, but the big winner was Victory Junction Game Camp. That's a great thing. And look at the lap Kevin's on.
It's going to be a pretty good lap. I mean, he was fairly quick in practice, 9th quickest. And this is one of the few teams that I found in the garage area, especially in the top 20 or 25 of points, that did not test this road course car somewhere.
It's about perfect around 10 right there. You get off on those strips because you don't want to get off in the dirt. So that was a good turn 10. Getting back into power pretty good right there. No stepping out of the back end. Looks pretty darn good lap.
Good turn 11. It's going to be a top 5 run for Kevin.
He kind of lost a spot getting, according to the Fox tracker, getting into 11, gained it back on the exit. So good lap for Harvick. You see a lot of still photographs from this track with cars in the air, like that, with the left front of Harvick's car. Jeff Gordon paces qualifying at Infineon Raceway. Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin, the top 3. Kevin Harvick just slotted into 4th. And on track, it's Greg Biffle, a driver, Darrell, that really likes to hustle his way around the racetrack. Does that pay off here?
Well, not necessarily. You got to be, you know, this is a narrow racetrack. You don't have a lot of room to work with here, so you got to be precise. Can't overdo it.
Dick Berggren is with Biffle's teammate, Mark Martin.
And he is definitely one of NASCAR's road racing stars with a win here. 4 times Mark has finished 2nd. Did you get everything out of the car that was in it in that qualifying run?
No, but I stayed on the racetrack. The Viagra team's got this Taurus really going fast, but in practice, I thought I could run about a 75-50, and I ran off the track. So then I put the old tires back on it, was go out and run a 76 flat on those, I thought, and I ran off the track again. So I watched this thing, and I decided that, you know, a 10th or 12th place start would be just fine. So I just kind of drove like a grandma out there. And, you know, I'm real happy with the run, but, you know, I could have took a lot more chances than that, but the risk wasn't worth the reward. So I want to say thanks to Pennzoil and Kraft Foods for their support. I forgot them back at Dover, and I want to get them in now.
Okay, good enough. Hey, with age and experience comes wisdom. Think about that. Is Chris Myers around?
Well, Jack Roush is around, and Greg Biffle just pulled off a run that's 4th quickest. The Roush Fords are fast.
Yeah, he was going so fast he missed a turnoff.
And, you know, we were talking earlier, Greg Biffle, he finishes this qualifying run, and what he's going to do now, he's going to hop on a jet. He's going to fly to Milwaukee. They'll practice, qualify, and race the Busch car tomorrow, and he's going to fly back here. They came out here and tested for 2 days, so what they've elected to do is just skip the practice tomorrow if he has no problems in this qualifying.
He's trying to stay stay out in front because another car is coming to the green, and that would be Robbie Gordon. And I would rate Gordon a road race specialist. Yes, he is a Cup regular now, but there's his average finish on the road courses where he shines, and he comes out of a road racing background in both open wheel and closed wheel. They won a bunch of IMSA races and did some Trans Am with Jack Roush. So I'd call him a specialist, Darrell.
I'd say so, and he holds a pretty wheel when it comes to road racing, buddy. He can get it done, as for the last couple of years.
He was 5th quickest in practice.
Gave away a win here a couple of years ago to Tony Stewart. Whoops, that ain't going to help him any.
Yeah, on his Fox tracker.
And where he lost all, look, he lost it all coming off the corner, and it just continues to go backwards.
And there's what you were talking about, hustling the car, Darrell.
You just can't overbrake. I mean, it's so tempting to overdrive a turn and get on a lot of brake, throw it into second gear, whatever. It just gets the car all upset.
He's making it up. He's coming back.
It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
You know, right here during the race last year, and he didn't look very good there, but this is where Robbie Gordon was so strong, getting in through the middle of turn 11 and off the corner during that race.
You know, I watched him all through practice, and that car didn't look like it normally does here in practice. A lot like what we just saw on that qualifying run.
So if you ask Robbie where he qualified, well, let's see, 3rd over here, 15th over here, 18th at that end, and ended up 13th.
And boy, I'm glad that's over with.
Yeah.
And you know, Mike, we talked about it. He won both road course races last year. They came out here and tested. They're just trying to make what is strong even stronger.
Robbie Gordon, 13th quickest. Jeff Gordon is fastest. Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin, Greg Biffle, and Kevin Harvick. Wow. Kirk Shelmerdine enlisted Tom Hubert, West Coast racer, who's made 3 starts here in Cup. Best start of 10th in 1998, and he's put that car in the show with a lap of 78.97, 21st fastest.
That's a pretty good move on the Kirk's part, sticking Tom in there.
Because with 45 cars here, to be in the fastest 38, you only have to beat 7, and that's what he did.
Kurt Busch.
Man, he's after it.
Yeah. The Irwin Ford. Kurt has qualified in the top 10 in the last 4 road course races. And his 4th place finish here in 2002, his best in his brief Cup career.
Old piece looks pretty good, really. I mean, he's digging.
None of the Roush cars have looked bad, Darrell.
He looked a little ragged right there. Might have lost a tad of time. Let's see how he does on old famous turn 10 right here. Keep her on the track, Kurt. Little dust flying. Attaboy.
Just right.
Took the Jeff Burton line.
Nice and smooth.
Coming now, coming. Don't lock up the fronts. Don't lock up the fronts. Good job. Get back in the throttle. Man it. Go, baby, go.
If he's able to stay on the throttle, this could be about a top 3 or 4 run for Kurt. Be pretty good. He was 15th quickest in practice.
Going to put the Roush cars 3, 4, 5 on the grid right now.
Yeah,
Kurt Busch the best of them.
I like that lap. That's a nice lap. He was digging, baby. I mean, and the good thing is he kept it on the road.
Digging. He was flying.
Watch this. And yahoo! Woo! I like it. And then see how it landed? It landed nice and flat. Didn't jerk the wheels up off the ground. She was hooked up.
Sure was creating a lot of left side weight there, wasn't he? Road racer Scott Pruitt, former IMSA champ from Roseville, California. He's in a Ganassi Target Dodge, and he is 5th fastest with a lap of 76.65. He'll make his 34th Cup start here on Sunday. Best finish a 2nd up at Watkins Glen. 3 Trans Am championships, 2 IMSA Grand Touring titles for Pruitt. The most accomplished road racer of the group, and this man would be right behind him, Boris Said.
California last year, missed that turn. Ooh, missed it a lot. Missed that big time. Got up there too hot going up the hill.
He was 3rd quick in practice.
He got a lot of making up to do.
Here's Matt.
Back in February, Mike, Tony Stewart had a 5-lap lead with 20 minutes to go. Tony nearly won the 24 hours. How excited to get back to a road course?
Well, I mean, it's different. I mean, this is back in the stock car, so, you know, it's fun. I mean, this is this is one of two really neat opportunities we have during the year to do something different than the ovals. But I was talking to one of the esteemed reporters in the garage area today. They were saying we need to come here twice. I said we need to go with 2 dirt track races instead of adding more road course races.
I think Eldora would be a good addition to the schedule, don't you think?
Yeah, I think we could go to Eldora and go to Knoxville, Iowa, and probably run 2 of the best short tracks across the country there. And NASCAR should step up. If they want to make some changes and look like heroes, they gain probably another 25 million fans by adding 2 dirt races in the schedule.
I think everybody would second that. Tony won here back in 2001 with this race car. Dick?
Oh, I second that. We got to get some dirt on this schedule for sure. Kurt Busch likes this racetrack just the way it is, though. Won here in 1999 in a Southwest Tour car. That helped him get an opportunity on Jack Roush's Gong Show, and from there, it's been straight uphill, including a 3rd-place qualifying run today.
Thank you, and I thought we got up the hill pretty good. As soon as there's that turn in 3A that you get the right sides up on the curb, the car cut in there so good. I hit that curb, and then it went all downhill from there. I thought we lost a little bit of time, but they continue to make improvements with this racetrack, and it just keeps you guessing a little bit. But all in all, a great lap for the Irwin Industrial Tools Ford, and just need to make sure that we start out good and miss that first lap mishap like we did last week. But if Robbie Gordon's in front of us this week, I'll follow him. I know how good he is here.
Hey, he does well here too, Mike.
Good point. You saw Boris Said, who despite trouble in the first part of his lap came back to finish 13.
Yeah, he did. He made up a ton of time from turn 4 all the way back to the start line. He lost a lot of time going up top of the hill, but he made it all up.
Yeah, the first part of that lap, if you're an aspiring road racer, that was all the things not to do.
Yep. Don't try this at home. Elliott Sadler is all up and down on the chart here. The M&M's Ford.
Had a little mishap in practice. He spun up there in the S's and got off in the dirt. Didn't hit anything. Looks like it's going to be a pretty solid run for Elliott. Brand new race car. They came out here and tested.
Well, he's got probably some difficult spots here to maneuver through yet. Getting down here out of the S's and down into turn 10.
He's never started here in the top 20. See if he can change that.
Right here's where he had the problem in practice. Gets through there okay.
Wide right here, a little wide. Just had to really slow down right there. You see it on the tracker.
He had a real early apex, Darrell, there, and it hurt him at the exit.
Looks like if he can get off turn 11, though, this would be a good top 15 starting spot for him.
Now, he did get in the throttle nice and early there and was able to accelerate out of that corner well.
12th quickest.
That turned out to be a lot better than it all looked.
Yeah, really the only place I think he lost a lot of time was 10, and it looked like I think he thought he was going to go off there. He really had to get hard on the brakes, stay on the racetrack.
Sadler's season this year versus last, much improved. No DNFs, top 10 in the points.
Much improved.
Yeah, he's been one of the few drivers that has actually been in the top 10 all season long.
All right, brother. Get up on the wheel here.
Michael Waltrip, the Napa Chevy.
Was 26th quickest in practice. This is a car, the chassis actually set on the outside pole at Watkins Glen with a couple of years ago.
He's coming from Owensboro, Kentucky, and running all the back roads the way all of us did. He ought to be pretty good on the road course.
Gets that rev limiter. Got an out cylinder.
Got through there. He's getting around real good right now. Lap looks pretty decent. Whoa, baby. Whoa, whoa.
Oh, boy.
Oh, he's got trouble there.
Something came way apart.
The engine.
Yeah, you can hear it.
I think it was the engine. Boy, that's a shame. He had a good lap going. You heard all that rattling going on? I think those were parts.
Yeah, that was not good. Now, that will lock Brandon Ash into this show, though, because he's now beat 7 cars with the trouble that Michael Waltrip, and we're getting a report that he did tell him on the radio engine blew or something blew up.
I think she blowed up, boys.
Well, better today than Sunday.
You could hear those big parts in there rattling around. That's what all that noise was.
This team just starting to gain a little momentum. Had another top 10 finish at Michigan last week. Let's watch it right here.
Listen to this.
Right when he downshifted, Darrell. Was it?
Sure, if he was shifted.
Heard that big noise of connecting rods ventilating the block.
That's what it sounded like they were all flying around all over the place. Here you go.
I don't think he ever made it to the downshift.
Tough break for Michael Waltrip. Constant doubt from his critics fueled Matt Kenseth's desire to win. But even after winning the Cup championship, he's still NASCAR's unsung hero. Matt Kenseth, Beyond the Glory, Sunday at 8 on Fox Sports Net. Matt is among those yet to qualify. We've had a little break here because Michael Waltrip had something come unglued in the short chute between turns 5 and 7.
First, I thought he had locked up the front brakes. When he comes across here, he's coming hard. No shifting right here. Yeah, it was. When he went to second gear. I think he might have caught second gear right there, and something flew out of it.
One thought is that because of where that smoke or steam is coming from, you might have tossed the harmonic balancer through the radiator.
But you hear it's running. But then all of a sudden, it's making a lot of noise. So there's something. The engine was still running, but there's something in there that has come loose.
I bet we will get the story shortly, though.
Well, one driver's misfortune is always somebody else's good luck. Dick Bergman.
Yeah, and Klaus Graf, as a result of Michael's problems, is in the show. How happy does that make you?
That brings back the smile on my face because I wasn't too happy after my run. And that's how it goes in this business. I mean, this is what it's about in Exeter Cup. First, you got to make the show. And the way it looks now, where we're in, and that makes me really happy again.
How are you adapting to these big, heavy cars?
Well, that's actually, I mean, I've done a few amount of testing and getting quite used to it. We had a few problems this morning, which put us back a little bit, but BAM Racing guys came back strong, and we had a little bit bad luck in qualifying, but I enjoy driving the cars. I really have a lot of fun driving these cars.
All's well that ends well. Jimmy Johnson on the racetrack right now.
And so the German road racer, Klaus Graf, will be in the field Sunday. As Jimmy Johnson, the Nextel Cup point leader, qualifies.
Now, he's not shifting, but you hear him down the short, down over the hill and down through turn 4 there, but you can hear it hitting on the rev limiter. So he's just letting the engine go up there, bang on the rev limiter, and saves a shift.
And you know, Darrell, opening the show, and look out.
Whoa, look out right there. Look out, come on.
He saved it, but he lost a lot of time right there. You see right there on the Fox tracker how much time he's lost. But Darrell, I was talking in the beginning of the show how many times these guys shift a lap, and one of the things that a lot of teams told me with the RPMs they're turning now, it actually has eliminated some of the shifts. They just go ahead and run it through the gear.
I think that's what he was doing, because probably got a 9800 chip in there, and he just didn't shift. He kept in second gear up over the top of the hill, down to 4 and across the short chute.
He had a good run going.
Boy, he did.
He was 10th quickest in practice.
He was on pole run.
The ex-off-road racer from El Cajon in the Lowe's Chevrolet, Jimmy Johnson, will clock in 25th.
I don't know about off-road, but he was off the road. Right cheer. She gets really, really. See, that started coming to this turn. Got out of position, tried to bring it back.
If you have trouble in the first of the S's, you have trouble through them all.
Yeah, the back end starts to step out. When he tries to go to the right there, the thing just spins around with him. But he did a nice job of hanging on to it. Come on, baby.
And keep digging.
Very lucky he didn't go ahead and lose that car.
We've seen a lot of trouble right there at coming out of the S's.
Trying to score a top 10 here. The only track on which he has not had a top 10 finish in a very brief career.
That's pretty phenomenal when you think about it. In 2.5 years.
Tony Stewart climbs the curb. He's been making some noise with this idea that if we've got to go road racing twice a year, we need to go back to our NASCAR roots and go dirt tracking twice a year. What do you think?
Not about all the changes I can stand for 1 year.
I didn't say this, sugar. I'm with you. Stewart, the pole winner here 2 years ago, and the race winner here 3 years ago.
Yeah, he has 5 starts here, all top 10 starts and all top 15 finishes. Always real solid here. Was 17th quickest in practice earlier. It looks about where he's probably maybe going to qualify. Maybe a little better if he can get through turn 11.
And Robbie Gordon just handed him a win here a couple of years ago when Robbie got into a battle with Kevin Harvick,
who was a lap down.
It was a lap down, and they wasn't teammates then.
No.
Let Tony slide by.
The Home Depot Chevy crosses the line 13th. So as Larry pointed out, this will be Tony's first start here outside the top 10. There's his career stats here. Pretty strong.
This is one of those tracks where you get to do both, really. You can run on the asphalt or you can run on the dirt, whichever one you like. I didn't even know this place was paved for a long time.
See Jimmy Johnson right there, not real happy about that qualifying run. He definitely won't be when he looks at that monitor, scoring monitor.
Matt Kenseth on track, the defending Cup champion. 4th was his starting spot here last year, 6th the year before that. And he finished 14th last year, his best at this track. So he stepped up his road racing program, as has Dale Earnhardt Jr. here in the past 2 seasons.
Had an interesting conversation with Robbie Reiser, his crew chief, this morning. You know, right now they're 3rd in points. They're 173 points out of the lead. They actually have quite a bit of lead on the 4th place car, Bobby Labonte. And like Robbie told me, with 11 races to go in this first 26, he said the way they're going to do the points, right now we're only 10 points out of the lead.
All of the Roush cars have qualified in the top 10 so far.
You can add this one to the list unless he gets down here and messes up somewhere. This is a nice smooth lap. You can tell he's just really trying to stay on the racetrack and not take any chances.
Getting better. Climbed to 6th, then 5th, now 6th again.
Coming around here, got a lot of power down, good move, good run. Got through there nice, don't lock up the front tires. Late apex. Got a little smoke off that right front.
Not bad, though.
Mat it.
And what you saw, Mike, you've been pointing out, the Fox tracker really gained a lot on that entrance. You know, he locked up the front wheels. The entrance was pretty quick. He lost a little ground off the corner, but it's going to be a good run for him. 5th quickest.
He was really smooth.
That's going to be pretty close to his best start of the season for Matt Kenseth. So he sends teammate Jeff Burton out of the top 10. And this is one of 2 tracks where Matt has not had a top 10 finish. But that's a great place to start if it holds up.
Well, now, can the Rocket, we know he can go round and round,
but can he go right?
Hey,
you're home away from home, Larry Darrell.
Our people are gathering.
Look at them. Hey, everybody.
What's that? Is that a hot tub?
That's Hammond's.
That's Hammond's. He drags it everywhere we go.
He takes how long he's got. Look, he's got a grill over here. You see the food over on the right. He sells rides in the hot tub. See all that? That's his lunch over there.
And I thought Trackside was just a TV show.
That's his
just
truck.
Continues to grow.
And now we know where the Frisbees came from.
Ryan Newman in that 12 car, he was 11th quickest in practice.
This is only his 3rd time here. Looking pretty sporty there in the Alltel Dodge.
But I mean, he's always, we talked about him going round and round. 4 road course races, 2 here, 2 at Watkins Glen, all 4 top 10 finishes.
Got a lot of that curb.
This is the car that early in the practice session at Watkins Glen back in August, he got it up on its side and rolled it.
Well, what's that hanging down? A piece of tape underneath there, I guess. I hope it's not the oil pump belt, which is something that can happen here to you, particularly when you do that right there.
Yeah, he was in the top 5 until he lost all that ground there in turn 10.
Well, he's even more trouble here.
Yeah, he just completely missed that corner.
Yep. One turn leads to another.
And you can see right there, he entered the corner so hard, the tracker went all the way to 3rd. Now look where it goes as he comes off turn 11.
Well, what happens? You run off turn 10, you're going to make it up in turn 11. Don't work that way.
You don't make anything up at a road course.
No, that's it. People who think they can gain time are fooling themselves.
Slow down and go faster.
So Ryan Newman is currently 18th out of 38.
Speaking of Hammond, he's talking to our people right now.
Yeah, he's auditioning off rides in that hot tub.
Just never know about Hammond.
Yeah, you do.
I don't.
Speed Channel coverage of Budweiser pole qualifying from Infineon Raceway is brought to you by Gillette Complete Skin Care. It's time to face skin care like a man. And by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. There is that tight paperclip shaped turn 11. Looks a little like Martinsville Speedway right there, only slower. Here's Dick Berggren.
With Matt Kenseth, who, if he continues to run the way he has been running at Infineon for the last couple of years, is going to get a reputation as a road racer. Qualified 4th last year, 5th so far this year. How was it out there?
Our qualifying's okay, but the problem is everything's paid on Sunday, and our finishes haven't been that great. So for some reason, we've been able to qualify okay here. My Dwell team did a great job today. We started the day in race trim and really didn't even get a mock-up run with all the problems, we had. So we just kind of guessed at it and had a pretty good lap. I saw a lot of cars getting real loose in turn 10 and tried to really take it easy through there, and then overdrove 11 and lost a little time off of that. But overall, that's a great lap for us.
And everybody's saying how hard it is to pass here, so good job. You've put yourself in a good position for Sunday.
Well, that was an interesting statistic, which we talk about every week, but he hadn't qualified in the top 10 in 25 races.
And you don't think it worries him, do you?
No, it doesn't bother him a bit, but look where he is. I mean, today he's 5th.
That's, by far his best of the year. Scott Wimmer, another of the rookies in the Cat Dodge Bill Davis.
27th quickest in practice. They came out here and tested, and the first day he was here, I think he had Ricky Rudd spend a lot of time with him trying to help him get around this place.
Well, if he was 27th, that's very respectable for somebody coming here for the first time.
Got a lot of rear brake in that car. See the back end just kind of hanging out in the under heavy braking there as he went into turn 7. See how he looks down here at 10, because that's going to be a telltale.
And Darrell, when you say there's a fine line, these guys can adjust the bias on the front rear brake. A road course is where you want to run just as much rear brake as you can, but you just can't make sure you don't put too much in it.
Yeah,
get it to wheel hopping.
Yeah, he really slowed down right there, Larry.
Looks to be about like, though, where he's going to end up where he practiced, though, right there, maybe 25th, 26th. See if he gets off turn 11.
When you're full of fuel and on a qualifying run, you can put a little extra rear brake in it. Fresh tires.
Well, let me ask you, do you have to qualify full of fuel?
You don't have to. You just have to qualify with the car weighing 3,400 pounds. However how you do that, that's up to you. But the thing about a road course is I think you'd probably want the fuel in the back of the car. Because you go left, right here, you might not want all that fuel, low fuel splashing around. So I don't know what the guys for sure are doing here, but I would think on the shorter racetracks, tight track like this, you'd have a full load of fuel.
He ended up 21st, though, that 22 car.
I'll tell you, that's very respectable for racing here for the first time and having only one lap to qualify.
Now, this car was pretty good in practice.
Jamie lost an engine at Michigan, had his 4th DNF of the season. He'll be 28 years old on Wednesday.
Yeah, they came out here and tested the car from last year, and he was 14th quickest in practice. You see on Fox Tracker right there, pretty decent lap going for Jamie.
A little tight right there, shoved the nose. Got to get back to the turn here, get up over the curve, gas it, come on. Lost a lot of time in that left-hander there, coming up over the hill. Car's tight, really pushing in front.
Whoa, he used up all the racetrack right there. But yeah, Mike, he lost that engine at Michigan. This is one of those guys, he's 13th in points, 125 points out of 10th, so he's got to be solid for these next 11 races.
And his teammate, Sterling Marlin's car was all reared up in the front end like this thing is, and his looks the same way. They're just not, you can't get the car to turn when it's up in the air like that. See how he's just sliding the nose? I mean, he really got a lot of wheel in it. Sliding the nose.
Sliding the Fox Tracker, too. Early apex, kind of slow off that corner.
So now he's trying to hug it tight here. So he's got enough room to get off of turn 11. Right out next to that wall.
He actually picked up a lot of ground through turn 11. He may flirt with a top 10 starting spot here.
10th for Jamie McMurray, and that's a 6. If he stays there, it's a 16-spot improvement over last year.
Bad news for that bumped Morgan Shepherd out of the top 38. It looks like he will be the car going back across the country to the East Coast.
Jim Englebright behind the wheel of the AOL Chevy for Richard Childress, 3-time Southwest Tour winner here. And he responds with a 25th place qualifying effort. Dave Blaney will be back in the car next week, but Engelbright gets a good ride.
Yeah, Blaney did a good job at Michigan. The car finished 15th. Got a good run for Engelbright. I mean, he was smooth all the way around the racetrack, no problem.
Jeremy Mayfield with a big turnaround from a season ago, 12th in the points. He was flirting with the top 10 until last week. Still has a good chance to come back.
Yeah, I talked to Kenny Francis this morning, his crew chief, and a lot of crew chiefs kind of concluded this when I talked to him this morning, that the racetrack at Michigan last week, about 2/3 of the way through the race, went through a huge change, and this is one of the cars I think that was hurt by that. I think his teammate Casey Kane benefited. I think it came to his race car.
Oh, baby. Yes. I mean, I know he had to be disappointed, Jeremy, because I talked to him for 2 nights, Friday night and Saturday night both. He said, DW, best car I've ever had. Didn't get the good result, though.
No, for the first half of the race, it was.
Pretty good.
He's 12th in points, 69 points out of 10th. So he's right there on that edge.
So he either needs to gain those spots or gain 42 points on the point leader to be within 400.
Yeah, right now we have 11 cars that's within 400 points, which the 11th place car would be his teammate Casey Kane.
But I like your strategy, Darrell. Don't count points, count positions. Aim for that top 10.
That's it. That's all you can do right now. It is what it is. Can't do anything about it.
It's going to be maybe a top 20 qualifying run for Jeremy. 19th quickest.
And if it holds, it'll only be the second time he started in the top 20 at this track. This is his 9th race here.
Car 19, qualified 19.
Time to change the number?
Is the race on the 19th? No.
Not this time.
Too late for that. So
you can't use the DW Daytona plan.
Maybe he can get pit 19. Probably finish 19th.
Joe Nemechek. 6th here in 99, his best road course start in 19 races. Last week led at Michigan, but had engine failure 174 laps in.
When I look at Joe, remember this is the MB2 team, and they actually have 3 cars out here with Scott Riggs, Joe Nemechek, as well as Boris said. You talk about putting an effort into a race. They built 5 brand new road course cars preparing for this race.
I think when you get somebody like Boris said in the stable, they bring so much information to the table that sometimes you realize, hey, we need to build a new car to take advantage of all these things that we've been privy to.
Well, it's working.
Yeah, this may not be a Bud Pole run, but it looks pretty good, Mike.
He had the Fox tracker up as high as 2nd.
And he was not that quick in practice, only 30th quickest.
Missed that turn just a tad. Shows up there.
And this is a team a lot like Mark Martin. They just want the bleeding to stop. They had a great car in Michigan last week, lost the engine. And, you know, they run the Hendrick motors, and I saw an interesting stat this week. Since Martinsville, Hendrick Engines has led over 1,100 of 2,500 laps. That's 45% of the laps, but there's been a lot of engine woes that has went along with that.
He's flirting with a top 10.
He's got it.
Yep.
He actually gained a little bit coming to the start-finish line.
He gassed her up pretty hard off the turn 11 there. Got him a pretty good jump.
He's going to be 9th quickest. In the 0 car, he was 32nd quickest in practice. Well, something just fell off his car.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. Pretty significant looking, whatever it was.
He'll be the 42nd driver to take time, but he will be our last qualifier because Morgan Shepherd neither practiced nor made a qualifying run. And Larry Gunselman, who's in the number 98 that Jeff Bodine has been driving, also did not make a qualifying run.
Well, Ward was really conservative coming up the hill there. Backed off early and lost a lot of time.
You know, this is another car that had a good run going last week at Michigan, had some engine problems.
See what we see here, Larry. Something flew up off this thing.
not sure exactly what that was. It came from the rear of the car, it looked like.
Piece of ducting or something?
Yeah, again, a lot of teams will run ducts along the trailing arm that connect the hoses that cools the rear brakes.
I'm not sure what that was.
I'm not sure what that was.
It looked heavy. It looked heavier than a piece of duct.
Whatever it is, he doesn't miss it.
Because he's flirting with a good top 20 qualifying run here. If he can make it through turn 10, turn 11, looks good through turn 10.
It's a good conservative lap. I mean, you watch, see how he's slow into the turn. He's really using that slow down in and get on it hard is what he's trying to do, and it's paying off.
Good solid run.
Yeah, no mistakes. Stayed on the course. Top 15 run.
Yes, sir. 14th quickest, but that run right there, what a solid front row we've got. Jeff Gordon and Rusty Wallace.
One of the folks in the truck thought it might have been a cork from a bottle of wine from
rubber.
Sonoma, but it is a spring rubber.
But it didn't hurt his run.
Actually. Oh, now that's making a late change, would you say?
Just had to hang it in
it's
there.
About as late as you can make it.
Right.
A lot of guys just hang them in there, you know, in case you need them.
So Jeff Gordon's our Budweiser pole winner. Rusty Wallace will have the outside pole. And then the Roush cars all over the top 10. In fact, this is probably the best qualifying race Ford has enjoyed in a long time.
Yeah, they're all good. I mean, 1, 2, 3,
6 in the top 13.
4, yeah, 4 in the top 10.
So Klaus Graf, the German, is the final driver in the field on time. There are the provisionals. Here's Dick Berggren.
And Jeff Gordon wins the pole here at Infineon for the 4th time. How much of an advantage will it be on Sunday for you to start on the front?
Well, it certainly helps. You know, getting out front there and having a good car like we have is really awesome. But, you know, last year we had a car that was, you know, out front and we got behind on some pit stops. So we got our work cut out for us. I tried to mess it up, and I'm just really proud of all the guys on this team. They did a fantastic job really bringing a great race car here. So proud to be on the pole.
Nice job. Congratulations.
Well, it's a big night on speed. Trackside is next. Ted Musgrave and Chad Chaffin on the front row for the truck race in Milwaukee later tonight. So we're going to send you off to trackside as we congratulate Jeff Gordon on his Budweiser pole win.